I will call the meeting for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors to order. Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Here.
Little,
Here.
Schwartz,
Here.
White,
Here.
Trelka.
Here. Please join me in a moment of silence while we reflect on our actions today. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will entertain a motion for the agenda received as proposed or amended.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Recognition. Do we have anybody from East High for their esports state champion online? Okay, we would just like to recognize East High for their state championship in esports. Does anybody have any details beyond that?
No, I mean, I know that esports is a new thing. It's developing. I think it's similar to computer games, but it's a little more specialized, that it works on skills that I think will be useful in kind of future employment. And I just happened to see in the Courier that East High won the state championship, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is. Well, congratulations to them. And this, I know they even have tournaments among adults in this type of activity. And some nonprofits are using it as a fundraiser. So we want to recognize them and congratulations. Do we have any public comments? Anybody in the room? Nobody is coming toward the podium. Do we have anybody online who would like to provide a public comment? Claims and payments. We have a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlements of such claims as allowed.
This week's expenditures total $704,255.72. The larger items, $435,982 for secondary roads. The vast majority of that was the final payment for the motor grader purchase. $28,904 geo bond fees. $31,599 for the health department. $16,862 for the medical examiner. $33,432 for maintenance, and finally $26,387 for the sheriff. Everything looked normal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Veeder, roll call, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Trelka.
Yes. Project updates from department heads and elected officials. Kathy?
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer.
Morning.
Morning.
Just wanted to give you a
Morning.
brief update on the roads. We do expect the plows to probably be going out about 11 or about noon today. There was supposed to be approximately an inch of snow falling, has been the forecast, so we do anticipate being out about noon today on the paved roads until about 5 p.m. or as needed. And then lastly, on our project work, PCI is currently working in the northwest corner of the bridge. If you recall, that's where the boat ramp area is for conservation. So they've done quite a bit of work to grade that out. We're doing some small improvements to that parking area. And so that is the work that's going on right now at the area. And then as weather permits, they are continuing to remove the old roadway on the east side of the bridge as well. Can I answer any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department heads or elected officials present? Any department heads or elected officials online who would like to provide an update? We'll move on to item number 6, minutes approved. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, it is approved. The consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Veeder, any discussion? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. Item number 8, contracts and agreements. There's a resolution that the data grant agreement between Blackhawk County and the University of Iowa for historical research and mapping be approved as recommended by Kim Veeder, and we did receive an email
So
on
moved.
that.
Second.
Kim?
Yep, occasionally we get requests from students or professors that are working on a project, and we provide our GIS data for them for their project.
All right, any discussion? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. Item number 9A, a resolution that the tax sale certificate assignment for one building, parcel 891314426021, located in Waterloo, Iowa, pursuant to Iowa Code 446.31 or 446.321 of the Code of Iowa be approved and said certificate of purchase of tax sale be assigned to 112 Randolph LLC as recommended by Rita Schmidt, County Treasurer.
So moved.
Second.
Rita?
Okay. Rita Schmidt, Treasurer. Tremont Allen, owner of the 112 Randolph, had approached for a request of an assignment on this house. Its taxes have not been paid on it since 2011, and there's taxes and special assessments. Most of them are specials. There's $15,878 delinquent on that. About tax-wise and special assessments, it's about $4,000 or $5,000 as far as principal. The house is a 400 square foot property. He wants to get in there and fix it up if possible. He has good ideas to keep the property up, and his company has had other properties that they have asked for assignments. They've kept the taxes up on those and have improved those. So he was not able to come today, so if I can help with any questions, I can.
Any questions for Rita or any discussion?
Rita, what was the name?
112 Randolph LLC is the company, and Tremont Allen is the
Okay,
representative.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Veeder, roll call vote.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. Item number 9B, it's a resolution that the compromise offered in the amount of $1,000 by 112 Randolph LLC on taxes owed for one building, parcel number 891314426021, located in Waterloo, Iowa, be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. Item number 9C, discussion county preparedness and possible updates for COVID-19. Do we have anybody here from the health department? Any other discussion? The letter was sent off. I don't know what the latest data indicates, but I know some states are doing better than others. And it seems like Iowa is in the upper category, doing well, but not as well as a couple of the others in
And
regard to our vaccinations.
I've reached out to some of our state legislators that had a more direct line to our Department of Public Health, just to put the pressure on to make sure Blackhawk County is getting our fair share. They're saying that this week is going to be better, but we'll see. I think we find out on Wednesdays what the vaccine allocation is. Last week it was just 300, and that's that's not an acceptable rate.
Yes. All right, we will move on to our work session. Item number 10A. Mr. Perry, do you want to take it from here?
You got it. Let's-
And this is in regard to considerations of all aspects of the fiscal year 22 Blackhawk County budget.
And as far as I know, we still have the meeting scheduled for Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
Yes, we are meeting with, we're having a
joint.
joint meeting with the Public Health Department Board tomorrow at 2.
So I want to thank James for doing this too, to kind of help give us some perspective too, going into that meeting where we're at. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. So the first I really just wanted to kind of give an update of where we're at currently. It says levy updates. This is not touching the health department's budget as directed, but then the other thing that this is not doing is adjusting for the commercial backfill. So I did not adjust any dollars allocated towards commercial backfill, and I'll describe why here in a little bit. But this does reflect the changes in capital after that conversation. So without further ado, I will move forward here. First, here are the fund balances that we have. The general fund unassigned is $20,830,281. Now we have carry forward funds that are kind of earmarked towards different projects, grant funds, etc. That leaves $19,128,181, or 46.95% of expenditures. This is not including the solar project. And if you do include the solar project, you're looking about 44.56%. Our CIP fund, Fund 351, that has $1,003,000 in there. That is due to the $1 million transfer that took place before I was here. So that dollar amount just has not changed.
And were you expecting to use something, put some things in the CIP from that fund, or no?
So out of this fund, we still levy for everything that we use out of that capital
Okay.
fund. The benefit of doing something like this is if we wanted to level off our tax askings in our CIP. So, for instance, if we had a goal of, levying $800,000 every single year, one year we might have capital of, say, $700,000. Well, that allows us to kind of build this fund up. In a year that we have $900,000, then we can use fund balance to get it back to that 800. So it really just kind of levels that off, so we don't have these peaks and valleys in the tax askings for CIP. Our technology fund, that sits at $587,957. Again, we did discuss using some of that fund balance for the IT projects. Finally, debt service. We have two debt service funds. The capital debt service that has $383,573 in it, and then roads and bridges debt service $587,957.
When you recap all this, you'll be going over maybe what our debts is, as far as looking at what our current debt is and that type of thing for us.
Yep.
just to think.
Yep, I have that as
I
well.
appreciate that. Thank
You
you.
bet. These are the current FTEs. No FTE changes, other than there was a 0.15 FTE increase for the health department. Other than that, everything stayed the exact same from last fiscal year.
Do you have a total for that number? I'm sure you do, but I was going to say for the FTEs. Just curious.
Oh, no, I do. I can get that for you.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't.
I'm sorry, that's not included on here. When I copied it over, I didn't include the total, but yeah, I can
Okay.
get that out to you.
Thank you. 0.15, okay.
And then these are the tax askings by department. Let me try to get that screen out of the way here. Tom, can you see that pretty well?
Sure.
Okay. So you're looking at the tax askings per department, and then that's the first column is tax askings for FY21. Then you have tax askings for next fiscal year, the dollar amount increase or decrease, as well as the percentage increase or decrease.
Let's hold it there just a little bit, James, to have people look over these numbers, just in case any questions pop up here in the next minute.
Do you have any comments, James? Anything you want to add on any of it?
Not necessarily. I mean, you do see the larger ones. The sheriff's department 374 decrease. Again, that was primarily due to the salary and benefits all going down between his restructuring as well as the civilians, detention officers. The treasurers, that one's going up merely, again, $450,000 decrease in interest income. You're going to see an increase in that one. Let's see.
The recorder?
Yeah, and then, I'm sorry, what?
The recorder?
Yep, so the recorder's going down. Again, they're seeing a significant increase in their revenue as well. The attorney's going up again. That one is really salary and benefits driven. IT, this is their operating. So again, if we have 124,000 coming out of the 360 fund, then that's going to be about a $60,000 increase, which that is going to get us to that $60,000 decrease in fund balance to make it an even 0% increase in their budget. Maintenance 12,306. Again, salary and benefits driven primarily. 170,920 for the health department. Obviously, we're having that discussion tomorrow. And then really everyone's just coming in as flat as pretty much flat. The $17,003 for conservation, that is including the increase for their light show.
Any questions on this particular slide and these amounts? Okay, James.
Thank you.
Revenue changes. Again, we have the loss of $450,000 in interest revenue. I adjusted the commercial backfill to $500,000 from $800,000 that we budgeted this fiscal year. Casino gambling, I lowered to $380,000. When I had looked at the casino gambling, we were tracking pretty well already, and we did have about 2 months where we did not receive dollars because they were closed down. Since then, we've received just as much, if not more, than expected there. The only reason I lowered it down $20,000 is we have been trending down from the last 5, 6, 7 years. So we did lower it last fiscal year from, I believe it was 410 or 420 down to 400, and then this year is really no different. Again, it's just the trend that we have moving from them. Department revenue changes are as follows. You have revenues for FY21, revenues for FY22, and again, the dollar difference. So if you look in the third column, you're really looking at the difference. Treasurer's department is decreasing their revenue, $435,100. Recorders increasing their revenue, $63,100. IT is increasing their revenue, $10,000. Maintenance is decreasing their revenue, $28,468. Health department increasing their revenue, $66,525. And then social services, DHS, VA, all decreasing, 1,500, 3,500, 5,000 respectively. Conservation or increasing their revenue 39,195.
Any questions on revenues?
Unfortunate, but no.
And then here's the tax levy trend for urban since FY12. So you can see that it's quite a bit of peaks and valleys in there, but
Some of those were the public safety radio system, I believe, though, too. I think we did some of those peaks were because of that, but otherwise, we've done really good.
Yeah, if that was taken out, it wouldn't appear to be as drastic.
Yeah, those were
Right.
just the peaks, yeah.
and then finally, this is where we're at right now. So we would see a modest increase of 0.92% for urban. Rural basic would be decreasing 4.7% for a total decrease of 1.1%.
So about a 6 cents, or 6 cents, but I was gonna say rate increase.
Right, yeah.
Tom, you can see those all right, and you can hear us okay?
You bet, you hear everything.
Next, I have on the screen, we have a hypothetical for these current levy rates or for the current levy that we have right now. Let me scroll down. So if you're looking at the effect on a $100,000 house for a residential property, you're looking at an increase of $11.77. For a rural residential, you're looking at an increase of $6.92. Commercial increase $5.28. And ag properties $11.11. And that's where we are right now.
Thank you.
Any questions for James? Any comments?
What's your plan for Thursday? I know you mentioned maybe.
So my plan for Thursday would be, I would love a little bit, when we know the direction that we're going to take as of tomorrow, then Thursday will be just a final recap. And that's kind of where we would be at. If there are any final adjustments, then we can make those. What I would like to do on Thursday is to essentially show everybody the levy rate that I would be publishing on Tuesday. That would be the max levy rate, and then we would not be able to increase that levy at that point in time. After that, we can make those changes and we can go down before we start publishing for the final hearing. But on Thursday, I would like to essentially say, hey, this is where we're publishing at. This, make sure that, excuse me, make sure that these rates are not going to decrease. As long as I get the go ahead from you guys, then I'll seek permission to publish on Tuesday and then do some final adjustments. And I think we can be done on Thursdays as of this Thursday, because the next couple Tuesdays we can kind of solidify that rate and the levies, and then publish and finalize. So
you still make a timeline you needed to, without any problem.
yes, yep, definitely. I think by having that the extra meeting and kind of pushing it back a week, that's really all that set us back is a week, and so we're still well ahead of schedule. So just for just for reference, we started budget on the 14th of January last year, and we're just about wrapping it up on the 19th this year. So,
James, I got a couple of questions real quick.
yes, sir.
Leaving the $500,000 in for the backfill, like you indicated,
Yes.
obviously, if we get our complete backfill from the state in this fiscal year, then we're going to be increasing our large reserve another $500,000.
That would be correct if all of our, if every other revenue that we indicate, if we received all of those and expensed perfectly, if we submitted and executed a perfect budget, then yes, you would be correct. We would be adding $500,000 to our fund.
Okay. When do we usually find out when we get that commercial backfill?
April, May.
Yeah,
May,
I was just
June.
gonna say I'm not exactly
Last
early,
year,
early
last year
summer,
was
midsummer.
summertime.
Yeah, they wait, yeah. It's late, oh, it's too late.
And on the IT budget, as far as the fund that we keep of the 500 and some odd thousand,
Yes.
do you know what the highest that's ever been?
I want to say there was a transfer done before I started. Maybe Kim can help me out here. Was it?
Yeah.
Well, we had set aside money for Thomson Reuters, so it was quite a bit more than what the Tyler product was. So, yeah, it was higher at that point. But I think that plus the laptops for the election
Right.
and a few other things that were taken out of that. But it's been mostly the real estate project.
Yeah, that was done.
Did that increase? Did that increase at all then this year?
No. No.
Do we want to look at that, James, in the future, and maybe having the board put a cap on that, whatever that number would be?
Yeah, that's completely fine if you want to do that. Again, I think it's just used as a tool more than anything, and it's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
The other piece we want to keep in mind is, though, those election laptops, because that's something that we have to save money for to pay, get them all at the same time, and that's in a few years, I think, is the plan is to replace them with tablets, so
yeah.
gotta keep that in
And
mind, too.
I don't know what that magical number would be. It's just something to think about in the future, and because it's more money that we have sitting there, just like the reserves that we're actually taxing for.
Didn't we talk about 500,000 to be kind of, or maybe that was just to put it in? Maybe that was just really when we kicked it off, but I was gonna say we didn't expect it to grow to keep enlarging it, but help with our needs, so, yep. Certainly can revisit it, Tom.
All right, any more other comments, questions, or concerns in regard to the fiscal year 22 budget? All right, we'll move on to item number 11, reports or information from the board.
I'd like to just give a brief update about the Waterloo Warming Center. We had a lot of setbacks and roadblocks this year, but we were finally able to open earlier this month with the support of the fire department using the hospitality house. But we knew it was less than ideal because it's not very large, and we couldn't set up the cots and allow overnight sleeping. So I kept still pursuing behind the scenes lots and lots of phone calls to track down what was going on currently at the old Hawkeye Metro Center, and finally found out that the real estate deal is pushed back a little bit, and they were open to us coming back in. And so as of Sunday, we opened back up in the old Hawkeye Metro Center, which allows a much more COVID-safe environment where we can spread people out. And so we're just really, really thankful for Hawkeye Community College for coming through. And it's going to be important this year because you might have read some of the reports that the polar vortex is splitting off and is going to come over both North America and Europe in the coming weeks and months. And so we're going to be in for some really cold weather. I hate to break it to you if you didn't know. But we're just thankful that we've got this resource, and we're going to keep working throughout this year to figure out our permanent solution.
Yeah, that's great. I was gonna say it was a great solution. Glad it worked out the way it did. Thank you. Do you have some people? I assume you had some.
Yeah, we were right off the bat having like 6 or so people a night at the other place. Now we weren't advertising as heavily because we wanted to get, since we had such limited space, to get the people that are the most vulnerable homeless. There's lots of different degrees of homelessness. Sometimes people are couch surfing and that. By having the warming center open up, it gets people that are maybe in less ideal circumstances that they don't want to be in, but weren't literally sleeping under the bridge that night. It gives them a little more options, and of course we give them all a referral in the morning. And especially with COVID happening, we did see some nights where the other shelters, had to shut down temporarily or stop taking intake. So it's important to have this additional option in the community.
Very good.
Thank you, Hawkeye.
Yes.
I'd just like to report that a longstanding member of our board for Memorial Hall passed away the day before yesterday, Marcia Corbett, at the age of 98.
98.
She's been on the board since the beginning of when we started Memorial Hall Commission. She's been instrumental in, over the years, of taking care of the cemetery, distributing the flags, make sure the flags were all went to the right cemeteries where they needed more flags, and Memorial Day Parade, she was a part of that. Memorial Day Parade board, along with the Merzlocks, the commanders, and significant people from the other organizations. She was in the military. Many years ago during World War II, she come home and worked at Deere's building war items, and then she got married and did a lot for this community. She was instrumental too, and she was, me, her, and Randy Miller were the ones that kind of more or less started the brick deal over there at Memorial Hall. So she'll be dearly missed. I told the reporter when he called last night, Pat Kinney is going to do the article on her. I told Pat Kinney, I go, I'm going to miss her voice, because you knew when I was at the nursing home just before COVID set in, and I'm walking down the hall nice and quiet, and all of a sudden a screechy voice yells out, "Is that you, Craig White?" And I knew exactly who it was. So she'll be missed.
Tom?
Nope, I'm good, and thank you for that, Craig.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You know what I appreciate looking over the past years, how we, as a government body, the hybrid, we allowed in our meetings. We have the flexibility to attend by Zoom, yet several of us are still able to be here in person. And I, as a citizen, appreciate that of my governmental bodies, the flexibility that's being offered. So we're in interesting times. And hopefully across the country today, we'll have peaceful protest and we won't have chaos.
Yep. Thanks for that, Dan. Yeah, there's no reason, I've told many people over the last few days, and my little brother had comments. I said he must have been raised right, because I read his statement he put up, and he's former military too, lifer military, him and my other little brother, and talking about the chaos that went on in D.C., and he ended it quite well, and I'll just leave that alone. The comments he made were appropriate as far as I'm concerned, because there is a way to protest something peacefully and let your voice be heard, and not to cause the problems that were caused the 6th of this month.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.